you. We're live. Okay. Let's hope this works. I hope everybody can hear music. I'm still waiting for my guest. He'll be home soon. How is everybody? Welcome. We are live. It's Monday. How's my friends? Hola, welcome. I can't believe it. We made it to another week. Barely. Today we're at episode 13. I can't believe it. I'm so excited. Welcome to the show. I hope everybody gets comfortable. I'm pretty comfortable getting settled in. So let's see who's here. Hi, Kenneth. Thank you. Oh, what's up, Gabe? Waiting on my guest. That's okay. So let me know if you can hear the music because I got jams going. Okay, so today we're going to be talking about PTSD and suicide awareness. So super excited. Yes, it's a veteran, one of my favorite, most nearest to my heart topics. So we're going to get to it soon. So I guess we're just going to talk. Let's talk while we wait for our guest. Marisa, ¿cómo estás? Welcome. Is everyone on Twitch? Yes, girl. Get back on Twitch. Get on Twitch and hit the follow button. Hit that purple follow button while you're there. Yes, we're waiting on Greg. Greg Washington's my guest today, so I'm really excited. Thanks, Gabe. Music's good. Hopefully it's royalty free. We're doing good on that. So please call me Kenny. We're friends. I owe you a Zoom call still. I know. I'm sorry. I'm slacking. We'll get to it. We're going to have a call soon. We'll get it scheduled and on the books. But yeah, I'm really excited. I want to thank StreamYard for powering tonight's show. I think I have a banner or like a little, let's change that. The duck. Gabe, send me that duck with the mouth, please. So I can put it in the corner for StreamYard. All right. Well, thank you, StreamYard. Again, I'm here every Monday night. I have a new guest. I wanted this platform to be a powerful place for individuals to share their stories. We want to destigmatize and normalize mental health, disability, and traumatic experiences. It's a place where we like to share our mayhem, create opportunities, connect, and break the voice of stigmas and stereotypes. I hope that music's not too loud. Okay, each guest will share their incredible experience. I love our guests when they come and they share their stories. So I always add our trigger warning to encourage discretion. We discuss sometimes things that can be difficult and mature in nature. Today, for sure, I believe that we will be discussing suicide, and that can be very difficult for some, attempts to suicide, stuff like that. So, all right, I just want to thank everybody that is here. I just want you to know, if you are here and you have not followed me, you're not subscribed, please do that. I appreciate the support. I'm really trying to get my Twitch to 50, my YouTube to 100, making moves. I want to get there. It's really important. I appreciate all the support. Whoever's here, we're just having some alone time. My guest is not here. Hello, Jackie. My guest is not here, but he's here. He's coming. I know he's coming. We've already talked. Yeah, say hello. Say hello to each other. Welcome each other. Jackie, Deru, Gabe. You guys are awesome. Team, the home team. I love it. It's fantastic. Okay, I don't know. I mean, you guys are all my friends. You know what? I do have a question that's been on my mind. I think we've made it to like episode 13, and I don't really know what to call the crew. Like, what do we call each other? Like when we're here on my show? I don't know. So I guess that's something to think about. I've been trying to figure out something. So anyways, that's right. How's everybody's Monday been? Go ahead, throw it in there. It's Monday. We're going to have a good week. Let's try to have a good week. That's, want to kick it off. Have a good week. Gabe, I know you're going to be coming back Mondays. I can't wait to be kicking it off, and hopefully we'll get some raids. I want to do some raids on Twitch. That would be awesome, right? Like, who wants to raid on Monday nights? Yeah, I think that's great. where do you find the royalty-free music? Travis gave me a little secret. It's called Spotify. Don't tell Nick, he doesn't like it. Hopefully that's okay, but we can change it back to the normal playlist. But we are doing so good. I hope everyone's having fun. I'm really excited. We're talking about some really fun things. Not fun things, serious things, but we're going to make it fun. So that's the whole purpose of being here, is to bring awareness, destigmatize, normalize all these experiences, all these feelings, all these thoughts that we share sometimes, all these thoughts that sometimes overwhelm us. Because I know for me personally, super emotional, very highly sensitive person, HSP, empathic. So the emotions can get the best of me. I know it. Gee, welcome. No complaints this Monday. It's always awesome to see you. Thank you for being here. The Mayhem Makers. Oh, I love that. Yeah, can we? Maybe. I need some names. I don't know. Royalty free. Share. Monday has been crazy. Yeah, I understand. They're for me like very stressful, full day's work. Come in at night, hit it with the live stream. Okay, I think it's time to kick it off. Our guest is here. Our guest is backstage. So if you're excited, throw it in the chat. I know you're excited. Who wants to talk about PTSD, suicide awareness with a veteran, our amazing Army veteran? He's amazing, like super powerhouse, genuine. He's on a mission. He's got something really big that he's working on, and I can't wait to share not only the guest and my stage. I've been working really hard on this stage, you guys. Well, working on that word. Friends, mayhem makers. I don't know. Let me know if you like that. But yeah, okay. Launch. Violet, the day has been topsy-turvy. I like that better because here I like to focus on changing my language. So like when I say you guys, it's more like inclusive. I say, hey, everyone, or how are you folks, friends? Yes. Okay. Yay. Let's talk about PTSD. Yes. Let's go ahead and start introducing our guest, because I don't want to make him wait. I don't want to make anyone else wait. It's really important. He is fantastic. He's a U.S. Army combat veteran. He's an entrepreneur, strategic leader, motivator, influencer. He is about to kick off a walk, like 18,000 mile walk, to bring awareness. We're talking about suicide and post-traumatic stress. We hashtag that a walk to honor. Okay, so throw a hashtag a walk to honor in the chat for me and for him and for his movement, his passion, his new project that he's working on to bring awareness. I can't say enough good things. He's got an MBA. He went to West Point. We're going to talk a little bit about that. He was active duty. He was deployed, Operation Enduring Freedom, and Operation Iraqi Freedom. Just amazing leadership skills. Been in some situations he's going to share with us, and he's bringing his story of awareness. We're going to try to break down the shame and guilt for those that have these thoughts, and to come out into the light and ask for help. We want to encourage that. He has a story about his two best friends that he lost in action. Second Lieutenant Emily Perez and Captain Scott Pace. We're going to talk about them. This really losing them, and he started his depression and facing suicide, and we're going to talk a little bit about that. But he doesn't want anybody to suffer alone. I don't want anybody to suffer alone. We don't want anybody to suffer alone. So that's why he's here. That's why we do what we do. So let's just go ahead and bring him on out, right? Walk to honor. Yeah, let's 18,000. Violet, that's right. Okay, let's go. Here we go. Come on, Greg. What's up, buddy?
Hey, how's it going?
Good. All right, let me change this. Here we go. We made it to the stage.
This is amazing. I love it.
Been working so hard for you, my friend.
I appreciate that so much. This is beautiful. I love the work you just did. I like it.
Thank you. I'm very passionate about this stuff. But we've had a couple conversations.
We've had some really good conversations, and you just hit me up in the middle of the day and pick my spirits up, and just that's what it's all about, having that motivation and being battle buddies and supporting one another.
That's right. So welcome. It's so glad to finally have you. I've been waiting for you.
Well, wait
I
no longer.
first,
Let's
I,
get it.
well, I first met you on Nick's stream when you were a guest on his show. And I thought your story was super inspiring and it really needed to be shared. And I took a little courage on my part, but I finally hit you up. And then after some time, we were able to like communicate and you gave me that solid yes. And then we've been kind of working on that. So it's just amazing to have you here. So yes, A Walk to Honor is your newest project, something you're really working on. We're going to get to that in a minute. Of course, we're going to start from the beginning. Tell the story. I want everyone to know who you are, what you're about, to see what I saw when I saw you on Nick's. And it's going to be fun, right? It's going to be good.
It is indeed. I appreciate you having me on.
Thank you.
Tell me where you want to start at.
I know that A Walk to Honor is where we're going to end, right? Because we really want to get people. But I want you to start from the beginning. I want you to just, go ahead. Let me see if I can pull up the life, early childhood, growing up. Who is Greg? Where's Greg from? What's Greg's story? Who's Greg? The little guy, Greg. Who's little Greg?
All right. You want to go way back? Okay, we can start there.
We'll just touch on it, and then we'll just keep tap moving forward.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm originally from Fayetteville, North Carolina, a military brat. The military was a family business. I got uncles and aunts that have covered, and my dad, that have covered the full spectrum: Army, Air Force, Marines, and Navy. And so I graduated high school from Pine Forest out there in Fayetteville. So I want to give them a shout out. Graduated high school and got accepted to United States Military Academy. So I was the first officer in the family. I was at West Point when 9/11 happened, my freshman year. And I like to call us the true class of 9/11 because we were freshmen, 17, 18. We had the opportunity to leave West Point and have no obligations to the military or whatever. And me and my classmates, we chose to stay. And so I always want to have a chance to give a big shout out to that class of 05.
Shout out to class of 05.
Yep, West Point.
All right, West Point. Shout out class of 05. There we go.
Yeah. And so we knew that we were going to be forward deployed upon graduation. So of course, West Point, so a 4-year military academy. Your junior year, that's where you make your commitment into the military. So 5 years active, 3 years in active reserve. And I remember 9/11 like it was yesterday. We were sitting in class when it happened. And I remember turning to my best friend, Emily Perez, and she was looked and shocked. And, I was just like, hey, it's going to be okay. Like, we got this. And, she gave me that head nod. And I mean, you could tell from that moment on, it was game on, right? Our superintendent, he was a 3-star general, William Lennox. He came across the net and he basically charged us. We're not going to allow terrorists to come into our home and think that we're going to back down. We didn't shut down school. We didn't stop what we were doing. It was all about preparing to lead those young men and women into combat and to fight our nation's battle. And so, that's what we did. One thing I'll say about West Point, going there, the biggest thing that they sold me on is they said you'll make friends for life. And so the amazing young men and women that I had that opportunity to play football with, to, go to school and then also to serve with have been phenomenal. And so I was stationed in Germany. I was deployed to Afghanistan with the Special Forces unit, and I was also deployed to Iraq with the Mechanized Infantry unit. And so I sustained injuries myself while I was over there. And throughout my time in the military, I ended up losing my two best friends, Emily Perez and
Wow.
Scottie Pace.
Yeah, that's hard. I'm so sorry. I did some research on them. I posted some links for them. I looked them up on the West Point website. I had their pictures somewhere. I'm not sure if I don't know if I pulled them, but I would be able to like pull them up while we're talking. That way we can have their memory up. But you can go ahead and share like just a little bit more, just about that part of your life and then that transition and then what happened
Okay.
while you were in the military. And then I'm going to see if I can just pull up their pictures while we're talking.
Okay. We
Yeah.
keep trying to get a real special effect.
Well, when you see someone, it really like brings that story home. Like this was a real person. This was a real relationship. This was like someone that, was near and dear to your heart. And both of these individuals, both of these soldiers, both of these officers. And it's so important to recognize them. And I know that this is a huge motivator for you. It's a huge inspiration for you to keep their memory alive and what they did alive and for you to keep going forward in your mission and in your story as we continue to move into like the PTSD part, talk about the depression part, and then start talking about suicide awareness with soldiers and other veterans. But I do want to like recognize them absolutely while we're here today. So let's see if I can find their picture. I thought I had it uploaded. So, hey, you just never know how it goes, but feel free to talk about either one of them or talk about Scottie since we already talked a little bit about Emily, Second Lieutenant Emily.
Yeah. So they are two amazing people. Scottie Pace was my roommate at West Point. He was recruited to play basketball when I was a football player.
Yeah.
And Scottie was out. He's from the West Coast. He's a Mormon, right? And the amazing thing about Scottie was his love for his family, especially his brother, right? And his faith. He was one of the highest ranking priests in his religion. And so, just to be able to accomplish that feat at such an early age was amazing. And so he did his mission before he went to West Point so that him and his brother could graduate at the same time and commission together, which that in itself is an amazing story. And to watch them both, like do that, it was awesome.
Okay. Wow. I got Emily's picture up, so we're going to go ahead and pull her up. Oh, it did it in the background. Let's see. Oh, I don't know how to do this. I'm learning. All right. We're going to keep working on it. Dun, dun, dun. We'll go ahead and put the background back. But I'm going to go ahead and try to bring her picture up. Continue. I know like losing your friends during combat, just talking about that military time, that active duty time, being overseas time, that's something you can share what that experience is like and how that creates, what you're going through at that time, then eventually PTSD, how really it can affect you. So I just want to build that bridge from what it's like to be in combat and those situations, so people can understand, individuals can understand how it can affect you later on, right? How traumatic it can really be.
Yeah. So the Army does a great job of preparing you to be a warrior. Mm-hmm. And it is one of those things where those that served in the military, we've all raised our hand and took that oath to protect and defend the Constitution, right? The United States. And so knowing that that's what's ahead of us, that we may have to make that ultimate sacrifice, I think that's something that every vet understands.
Yes,
and
I do.
And to have to go to war and forward deploy, it's one of those things where, it's life-changing. 24/7. You're on guard, right? The only people that you can trust is the ones that are in uniform, that wear that American flag on their shoulder.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody else, you have to look and identify if they're a threat. And so when dealing with those type of things on a daily basis, having that heightened awareness, as well as, being in combat experiences where either you go through a traumatic experience yourself, or you lose a battle buddy or someone close to you, or you see that on the battlefield, that forever plays, on your psyche, on your inner self.
Absolutely. I have friends that I've lost in active duty. I wasn't deployed to active duty like combat, but I have friends that were, by all means, and I have friends that have lost their lives. So yes, it touches my heart too. And I have their pictures. Yes, thank you everyone that has assisted me. Hold on. I did it as an overlay. So yes, here we go. There we go, Emily. Oh, let me go this way. There's Second Lieutenant Emily in her uniform from West Point.
Yep, that is her. That's one of my favorite pictures. And only because the day that she took this picture, I was the one that helped make sure her uniform was squared away so that she could take it.
Yeah. And then I also have Captain Scott's picture, Scott Pace. So I just wanted to honor him, make sure we put his picture up, both of their pictures up, as they're such an honor to include them in this episode, and as they are such an important part of your story and your mission. So, all right. Thank you everyone for the help with that.
When you look at these individuals, us as a whole, we literally sacrifice love, our youth, and even our health, right, for our countries. And I know for me and anybody else, we'll do it again if we could save another life. And so
absolutely
transitioning out of the military was tough in itself, because I was in the mindset of career soldier.
Mm-hmm.
From the age of 17, 18, the goal was to be a general, right?
Wow.
And having gotten hurt, and now, okay, what is life going to be like after the Army? And then losing my two best friends, going through some family issues, and my mother being diagnosed with cancer. Man, it felt like the weight of the world was on me. And I found myself at a very low place in life where I couldn't find my purpose. I couldn't find answers. And I was in so much pain physically, as well as mentally, that I had thoughts of committing suicide. And the day that it was actually going to happen, if it wasn't for a family member just calling and checking in on me, one little phone call changed my entire life. And so my baby cousin, she's in the military now. She followed after my heart. She's in the military now.
Aww.
13, 14, she called me and was like, when it was happening, gun in hand and everything, she called and she was like, "Hey, cousin Greg, what you doing?"
Aww.
"Nothing, sweetheart. What's up?" "Me and mommy, we're broke. We're going to go to Wally World and window shop. You want to come with us?" That one phone call changed the course of my history for life. And so I call her my little angel, because she saved my life. And so the thing that I want people to understand is that we have to do more than just care. We have to show up for our soldiers. We have to show up for our veterans. Yes. And so what I am doing is, with this walk to honor, 1,800 miles from Mount Bayou, Mississippi, to Fort Bragg, North Carolina, to DC, and then on up to West Point, New York. It's a call to action. It's for those veterans that are still fighting a battle, but on a different battlefield. It's a call to action for us to get help, to reach out for help, to stop suffering in silence. And the other part is to let's start building a community, right? Your tribe.
Yes.
So regardless of your religion, regardless of your political view, this is one of those causes that everyone can get behind. Because veteran suicide is real.
Mm-hmm.
And the rate is ever increasing, even with what's going on with the pandemic.
Yes. It's difficult. The statistics are rising in all categories, right? It could be, all categories, whether it's substance abuse, whether it's domestic violence, whether it's, just food insecurities, you name it. There's just loss and there's pain and there's anguish everywhere. And people are heightened emotionally, and depression is increasing, right? Anxiety is increasing. Trauma comes with, right? So let's say there's just a home that's dysfunctional and there's lots of issues going on. Trauma, right, carries. Trauma begins. So it's just a lot, and I understand that. Let's talk about the grit, gratitude, and greatness. I want to know more about that and what that means to you.
Yeah. So I want to go and answer Drew's question. Survivor's guilt or survivor's remorse?
Yeah, I'll pull it up for sure. Right here, Drew. Thank you, Drew, for your question. Welcome.
Yes. I did. My transition out the military was very tough. Mm-hmm. Having lost my friends, it was one of those things where I wish it was me. I was prepared to give that ultimate sacrifice if I knew I could save their life. And for the longest, that shame and guilt was over me. That negative self-talk just spiraled into this deep depression. And one of the things that I learned, right, is that you have to have a plan. Mm-hmm. I'm reminded of another story because I got lucky, right? My baby cousin, she called and checked on me. There's another story out there by a guy named Kevin Hines, and he attempted suicide. He jumped off the Golden Gate Bridge, and he instantly regretted that decision as soon as he made that leap, but it was too late to turn back. And if it wasn't for a sea lion keeping him afloat, he wouldn't have made it. And so he has an amazing and powerful story, and I hope I get to meet him as well. But the one thing that I reflected on with his and my story is that neither one of us had a plan. And so you have to have a plan to save yourselves, right? And so grit, gratitude, and greatness is part of that theme. So at the very core, being able to have those three battle buddies that you can call on when times get tough, knowing who your mental health provider is or your primary care provider is, and being able to call them, set up an appointment, or reach them. And then the last part is knowing the number for the crisis hotline.
I got that.
And I'm glad you pulled that up. There's also another one. I think it's 988 is the new.
For the veterans one?
This one I believe is for anyone.
Let me see.
And so this one for the veteran crisis line, this is amazing. Right? Because you can call and you can talk to someone instantly, especially when you're going through.
That's right. We want to make people aware that there's hotlines out there, especially veterans, but there's also the national one that's open to anyone that's not a veteran if they have thoughts of or plans or intentions of committing suicide. So yes. Reach out to loved ones. We always talk about compassion on this show. I always talk about compassion. You never know what somebody else is going through. You don't know what's in their head. So if you can be nice, if you can be considerate, if you can just watch the language, just be careful.
Right.
Everyone's living in sensitive, difficult, tough times. Now is such I don't know. I want to say just a very, I don't know, difficult time for everyone, and we're just going to keep it moving. But now is important to talk about these things. And for me, mental health has always been something that I want to talk about: disability, trauma, and just being able to just make it more available, the information, the stories, that there's other individuals that have gone through this or going through this. There's people that they can reach out to. There's other people, whether they're in the comments, whether they're in the audience, whether they watch this later. Hopefully it saves a life. It makes a difference. You're not alone. No one's alone. Just, we got to keep telling everyone, like, just reach out to someone, or if you have a feeling that someone may be suffering or hurting, reach out to them. Don't pass on that feeling, right?
Correct.
So, yes. I appreciate the chat. I just want to give a shout out to the chat.
Yeah.
Thank you for everyone tuning in. They're so great, Jackie. Nick's here.
Awesome.
Right? I know everyone's here. Nick says you have such a great, powerful story. So I want to thank Nick one more time. Thank you for highlighting you. So then I can be moved by your story, and your story can continue to move others. Suicide is real. People are suffering in silence. Over the course of this walk, this is something that was on your website, that you just want to make enough noise in just one day that you believe that you can curb the suicide rate one day at a time, right? Having these conversations.
Correct. One day at a time. And so with the walk, like I said, it's 1,800 miles, it's 25 stops, and we'll be hosting 25 mental health rallies or panels. And so this is a chance for veterans, right? And for, those that are suffering in silence.
Yes.
To reach out and get help. You're not alone. You don't have to suffer in silence.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. I fixed that for you. Curb. It's all good. We got you, girl. Do you have a press release about the walk? I do want to share the actual website you have, because I do want to get to that.
Yes.
I'm trying to check the time, see how we're doing on our topics. I know we're going to be talking about how we can support you. Let me fix that. Donating. People can join the walk. You're going to be stopping at different sites. I think the target start date to start the walk is Memorial Day weekend. One of those days, right?
Yeah, it's at the end of this month. I'll start on the 30th from Mount Bayou, Mississippi, and I'll be walking. And the plan is to get to West Point come September 11th weekend, because September is Suicide Prevention Month. It'll also, to commemorate the memorial for 9/11, which I'll make it to New York by that time, and it'll be my first time actually going to go see the memorial site, the 9/11 site.
Wow.
And I've never been able to bring myself to go there, and now it's time. And then to make it up to West Point, so that we can do a suicide prevention, a stand down for this. And also to honor Emily, because she was KIA'd in September as well.
All right. So I'm sharing everyone with the chat the links to the Walk to Honor. Lots of great information on there. If everyone goes to the website, you'll see one of our familiar faces on there. It talks about who you are, the letter and your founding letter. It just gives a lot of great information on the mental health crisis, right, that we have here, and the suicide rates, and how the CDC reports how just they're the highest rates that there ever been in history. Let's see, some of the links aren't live that the press. Oh, okay. Thank you. I appreciate that, Marisa. So, And then on there, you talk about where you're going to start and all the different stops you're going to be. So I want to talk about Mount Bayou because that's the starting point. And I pulled this while you were talking about how this is really close and near to your heart, about your family's hometown, right? This is why you selected this starting point.
Yeah. So Mount Bayou is one of the first official Black recognized towns in the U.S. A newly freed slave was allowed to purchase an 800-acre swamp. And his mantra to the other newly freed slaves were, if you could work from sun up to sundown for your master, you could work from sun up to sundown for yourself. And so they built that town when there was no integration, when things weren't equal. And so that was a safe haven for others to have.
Yeah.
And so the part of Mount Bayou, what I want to touch on is there's more than just pain and suffering in our history. There's strength, there's grit, there's resilience that we can lean on. That same internal strength, grit, and resilience that we need to save ourselves. Mm-hmm. And so I'm walking from Mount Bayou. Mount Bayou is also featured in the African American Museum, along with Emily Perez. She was one of the highest ranking Black females to ever graduate from West Point. And she was also the first, she was also one of the first female Black officers that were killed in OIF OEF.
Yes, I read that. And I know I put lots of different articles for her in the chat when I had posted this on LinkedIn. It's, for me, as a woman veteran, it's really important that women veterans get to be recognized as well. Traditionally, right, military has been male dominated, but it's really nice to have a woman and to be able to recognize her, especially a woman of color, and her heroism. So, I couldn't be more touched by her story and your story and how your friendship and that true camaraderie that you have in the military, right? That like you said, those battle buddies. There's different terms for it, but that's a really common one, and it's a familiar term, and it really is like, when else do you have somebody else? Like, that is who you go to, and you have to lean on each other. There is, you're just out there in this very difficult time, no family, no friends. It's just you and, your platoon, your team, your squad, whatever you call them. I know I'm Air Force, so we're squad, we're squadrons. But that's who you fall back on. Say what?
I said, I got you. I won't hold that against y'all.
That's all right. Yes, heroism. But I'm just really excited. I want to know more about the walk. I don't know if I can share more information, like what else is that you want to highlight or touch on. Let me see what I did with it. Oh, I had it here.
Yes. At each one of the stops, we'll be hosting these mental health rallies where we'll be connecting and sharing local and state resources for, that community, that area. And so the whole hope with this is to break the silence when it comes to mental health and getting help.
Yes. Absolutely. I know there's lots of barriers to mental health, right? Getting services in mental health. I think that sometimes, especially people of color, are often just dismissed, right, when they're trying to reach out or when they're trying to say they have a problem. So it's really important that people just continue to reach out to their primary care and say, hey, I'm having issues. I need help. I need someone to talk to, because it's so easy for just society to dismiss things like that. And suicide is very real. Depression is very real, and it can just grasp you and not let you go, right? And it just takes you down. So I just think it's really important that we also address how important it is to just, if you see someone that's going through it and they may not have the strength to say something that they're going through it, they're hurting, that they're going through depression, or they're having suicide ideations. They might have a suicide plan. I mean, and it's important to know that there are steps when it comes to like that suicide, right? So first is that ideation, just the thought of, but once you start to formulate a plan, now you're moving into the second phase of that suicide, closer to suicide. So it's really important. So it's good to ask people like, hey, have you thought of having thoughts of suicide? There's nothing wrong with asking someone once they've started to give you those signs of, hey, you know, I'm just tired of life. I don't want to be here anymore. You know, there's nothing left for me anymore here. I'm ready to go, right? There's these common phrases that it's important for individuals to kind of listen for when you may be having someone that is having those thoughts of suicide. And those are like terminology, not terms, but phrases that can really should alert someone to say, hey, I heard what you said. So do you need help? How can I help you? How can I be available to you? It sounds to me like maybe, you know, you're having thoughts of suicide. You know, how can I help you? Right? How can I be there for you? You know, you're worthy. Your life matters. What you've done, so I think it's important. And I think sometimes that's part of it, is that people don't know what to say. They don't know what to say. If someone says, oh, I don't feel good, I'm just feeling like not being here anymore. I feelings of hopelessness, right? So once you're in depression and those feelings of hopelessness start to transpire into those suicide ideations, and then into the planning phase of it, it's hard and people don't know what to say. So for me, it's important that we really help individuals understand what you can say. It's okay to ask, do you have a plan? Have you had thoughts of suicide? If you have, let me give you a number, or let's go to the doctor. I know like there's mandated reporting, right? So it's like when you go and mandated reporter and like, have you had thoughts of harming yourself or others? That right there can be very triggering for individuals because they don't want to be hospitalized. And that's a whole nother ball game, right? The fear of being hospitalized, the trauma that comes behind being hospitalized for a mental health
Correct.
crisis.
You're right. And that's one of the biggest things that I've seen that hold people back, because once you're labeled, right, that you have this, or, you know, this is going on when it comes to mental health, a lot of people fear for their job, the roles that, you know, that they'll play, that they'll be taken away, or, you know, that they'll be passed over when it comes for, you know, that next promotion or job. And so I really want this to be a wake-up call. You know, I told you earlier that we need to do more than just care. We need to show up. And I strongly feel like our leaders need to show up just as much as our friends and battle buddies, right? Because we need to make people and let them know that it's okay to seek mental help.
Mm-hmm.
And that we're not alone.
And there's no shame in that. There should be no guilting.
Not at all.
That's a big piece of it, is feeling guilt, or someone guilts you, like, what? From a man's perspective, and we're going to make it a gender, right? It's difficult, right? The men that have to go out there and to say that they need help in some sort of way. That can be hard, right? The ego, the pride, you name it. Yep. I mean, not just women, but for men particularly, a male veteran that's been taught to be strong and a role model, a leader. You're not, right? There's like these certain assumptions and expectations that really don't allow for someone that is going through those difficult moments in the darkness to share. Where can they find a safe space to be able to share that, honestly, right? Yeah. And I know that that's what you want to create.
Exactly. And I mean, it was one of those things where I was like, man, if I'm a leader and my transition was this tough and I was going through all of this, I can only imagine what other soldiers and other veterans were going through. And so that's one of the reasons why we created this, is because I wanted to build that community, that tribe, that I needed. And so to be able to create this safe space where we can come together and we can get other wounded healers, other veterans that have been through the fire, that have been through what you've been through, and be able to drop some jewels and to provide motivation and accountability and just inspire in others to help save themselves, right? That's what this is all about. That's what the community is all about. And so, you know, for all that are out there, come join us. If you can walk, sign up. If you can't, donate, because I want this campaign to be so big, and I want this campaign to be from us.
Yes.
Right? I want it to be from us. And I want the message to be very loud and clear that you're not alone. That you don't have to suffer in silence any longer. Right? I strongly believe that if we make enough noise over the course of this walk, that we could curb the suicide rate, if not end suicide, veteran suicide.
Yeah, we really want to just continue to support our veterans. You know, a lot of veterans end up homeless. A lot of veterans end up without the services. Less than maybe the percentage that they get awarded is not really gonna give them the services that they require, right, due to what they've been through and the trauma they've been through. So I know there is a lot that goes behind that, right? When you're working with the VA, you're trying to get your disability percentage, and everything that comes with it, and then just trying to get services, and the lack of awareness, the stereotypes and the stigmas and that come with it. I mean, it's just a big, giant, enormous it's just something that really needs a lot of attention, and there's just still so much, there's just not enough noise about it, right?
Correct.
So,
Correct.
yes, right. So we're here to make noise, we're here to make mayhem. I love it, mayhem makers. That's sticking with me. That's sticking with me. So I'm going to put, well, that's one of the websites. Thank you, Marissa, sponsor the RV. Yes. For $150 a day. Thank you. She's fantastic. I'm so glad she's here. She's going to help us out with all those details. I know we're going to start wrap it up as we start to close out the hour. We've got about 10, 12 minutes left or so. So I'm going to go ahead and just kind of give any other last minute information when it really does come to any sponsorships. I know you really are seeking sponsorships, any donations that can help you to continue the walk, continue to advocate, continue to bring your message to all these different sites that you're going to be at. I wish I had the map. I know it's on the website. It's if you look at it visually, like just think of somebody walking across the eastern seaboard up to like Washington, D.C., up to West Point. It's incredible. It's a huge mission. I mean, this is your heart. This is your body. This is just everything. You're giving everything for this. So you're really like putting yourself out there. And I find that it's really, really important that we do share the links and give people opportunity. And if they want to support you, they can contact you. How do you want people to contact you?
Yeah. If you can, come support, go to gregcwashington.com. And you'll be able to find a walk to honor there. We're also on Facebook and LinkedIn as well. So you can contact us. Look for a House of Man on Facebook, and look for House of Man on your social media platforms. You can contact me directly on LinkedIn at Greg C. Washington, or even on Instagram as well at Greg C. Washington.
I think I got it for you. And now my chat wants to act up. I don't know. I'm trying to throw the links out in the chat. Let me know if they're coming through. I'd appreciate it.
There they go.
I hope so.
But this is for that individual that's out there that's questioning what they should do, this is that wake up call. This is that sign that suicide is not the way, that someone out here cares,
Mm-hmm.
and they want you to get help. I mean, I've sacrificed love, my youth, and my health for my country, and I would do it all again if I could save another life. And so, for y'all that are out there, come join. Come get behind, because I mean, this is something that we all can get behind and that we all should be passionate about. And for that person that is going through, give yourself a chance to grow through your situation. One thing I used to have to tell myself, I used to have to look in the mirror. If you don't give up on me, I won't give up on you. And so that's the same message that I want to share to all those out there. So when you see me walking, just shout out, Greg, I won't give up. I'm in here with you. And let's make a difference.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think it's so important what you're doing. So I knew when you shared it with me, I was really excited that we could really highlight this as being, also in the mental health space, advocating to break these stigmas, bring information to folks that may need some resources, that may need just a little bit more understanding or clarity, or just a way to connect with someone. So, for me, that's really important that I create that here on the show, create those safe spaces, have these conversations, and have, individuals feel comfortable enough to reach out to me at least, or anybody that's a guest that really they can resonate with, right? That kind of helps them get through it. So I did put the National Suicide Prevention number down on the bottom. Thank you, Nick. I appreciate that. He said he clipped it. That's so sweet. I appreciate that. Hey. And thank you for also letting me know we see the links. I just wanted to make sure that they were there. Yes, please check out the dates. There's lots of the stops are on there. I really couldn't get through. I was trying to think of how can I pull this into the show and show where all the stops are going to be at, but that would just take a really long time. So, so I just really want to share the website so individuals can go, and that way, if they want to donate, or if there's anyone out there that is moved and inspired and wants to be a sponsor and wants to continue to support you as I'm supporting you in any way they can continue to do so. Contact you in any way. Okay, my friend. Well, we're wrapping it up. How are you feeling?
I feel great. This is amazing. I appreciate you for just having me on and getting the chance to talk. It is one of those things where I believe a person dies twice, once in the physical form and the last time their name is spoken. So being able to come on and share the story about my two best friends, Emily Perez and Scottie Pace, this is a way for me to honor them and make sure their legacy lives on forever.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I just know yes, he's such a wonderful soul. He has an incredible story. Thank you, G. I appreciate your support today. Everyone's doing so. I appreciate all the support, everyone dropping in the chat. Yes, thank you, Gabe. Thank you, Nick, G, Jackie. This show isn't anything without everyone here, right? So, hey, we're just here to kind of provide support to you, Greg, and your story, and highlight how important it is to talk about post-traumatic stress. And ask someone if they're having thoughts of suicide. It's okay to ask.
Don't be
Ask.
afraid.
Do not be afraid. This S word, suicide. It's not a bad word, right? People think it's a bad word. You can't say it, but it's okay to ask. It's okay to, if you're getting those feelings, right? If you're hearing the flags are going off, like someone's not well, they're going into their depression, the hopelessness, the crying, and then like PTSD with the hypervigilance, just the mood swings and all that. It's just really like take care of your loved ones, right? Keep an eye on your loved ones.
Correct.
Provide them the support. I like to talk about caregivers, and that's something we really didn't talk about, is like the caregivers and the supports of the individuals around those veterans. So what can we talk about? Give me a little bit of information on how you feel about the caregivers, the support systems, military spouses, right? Military wives, military husbands that have their spouses that are going through PTSD, that are having those thoughts of suicide. How can we better help them or provide support to them as well? Not only just the veteran.
Yeah. So it's twofold, right? Because to the veteran, one, you got to be open and willing to listen to the people around you. If your spouse or significant other is saying, hey, you seem off, if your battle buddies, your peers tell you the same thing, take a moment, right? And acknowledge that. And the other part is just allowing yourself to go get help. Moral injuries, they hurt just as hard and as long as, some of the physical injuries do. And so, we have to take care of that mental just as much as you do physical. And for those family members and friends that are part of that support system, don't be afraid to talk about it. Hey, you seem off. Something's wrong. Let's talk.
Yeah.
Look, I'll go with you to your doctor's appointment. Be willing to show up. Don't just tell someone else you need to go see a doctor. Nah, I'm gonna walk down here with you. I'm gonna go with you. That's how you show up. That's how you
go. There you go.
Picking up a phone call and checking in does amazing. Just getting back to those grassroots of just caring for one another, and just being able to have the capacity to love. So my veteran, I know you're struggling. I know what you're going through. And just saying, I'm here. Sometimes you don't have to do anything, but just sit and be there. And that's more than enough.
Right. Just being there, listening, validating. Marissa's got some great questions. Are you seeing that?
I am seeing that.
So here we go. Let's talk about the graph and your plans for the future and how we can help.
Yes. So the graph is basically around the grit, gratitude, and greatness. I strongly believe that those are the pillars that is needed to save yourself, because everyone has a story. We all go through something. We're going to lose someone. We're going to go through a traumatic event or through grief, at some point in life. And so grit, gratitude, and greatness is the focus that's needed in order to pull yourself through and push yourself forward. And so when I lay it out, we talk about the valley, the mountain, and the summit. And of course, the valley is the valley of death. And a lot of military personnel, a lot of people can relate to the valley. That negative self-talk, that shame, that guilt, that decrease in your self-actualization and awareness that sends you spiraling into deeper depression. And then when you increase the risk factors such as isolation, financial problems, toxic relationships, things like that.
Yes.
That's sometimes the straw that breaks the camel's back. And so you have to be able to have that grit. And I use grit because when you think about the definition of grit, it's having the stamina not to give up.
That's it.
And so not giving up on yourself
not giving up
is key. And then once you make that decision that I'm not going to give up, there's two things that you can do for yourself. One is change your behavior, and two, change your perspective. And so focusing on, is the glass half full or is the glass half empty? Well, look, I'm here. I'm living this life. I got another 24 hours. Focusing on the gratitude and being grateful for what we do have now, right? And changing that mind frame and that mindset is big. And then once your perception and your behaviors and how you cope with trauma and grief, once we get those keyed and locked in, all right, let's define what makes you happy. And let's start walking that path towards your purpose, towards your greatness. And so that's the graph. That's what great gratitude and greatness is about.
Awesome. That's it. Yeah. That's amazing. That's truly powerful. And that's so important. So yes, not giving up, just keeping that hope, keeping that, just that little bit to keep going. And then again, support systems, reaching out, hopefully surrounding yourself with individuals that can understand and give you some compassion as you're going through this, to get to the doctor, to get to where you need to be able to get the help you need, so you don't give up, so you don't end your life.
Correct. Give yourself a chance. It's not going to happen overnight, but give yourself a chance.
It's hard to forgive yourself, right?
It is. And one thing I say about forgiveness, right? It's a commitment. It's not just a feeling, it's a commitment. It's an everyday commitment. And so we are our own worst critics. So being able to give yourself a little mercy and grace along the way, to understand that, look, nobody's perfect. It's okay.
Right. And you're not alone.
So come walk with me. Where you going to meet me at, D?
Georgia. I'm in Florida, so I'll have to hit you up in Georgia somewhere, like as you're coming up, like crossing through Atlanta, going back up.
All right, there we go. So look, and the way the route looks, it's kind of like if you follow I-20 going east and then hit 95 to go north. That's kind of the route, right? And so, for all of those that are out there, hey, come join, come be a part of this tribe and community, because this is not just a one-time thing. This is our legacy. I always think about, that question of, okay, well, how do I want to leave this world?
Where's right? Gabe? That's Gabe's question, not mine.
And so I want to leave this world in a better place than what I found it. And that's one of the things that we're doing in the House of Man. So this walk, these rallies, this would be something that will be an annual thing or event that the nonprofit will do. We are also setting up what we call Funds for the Fallen, where to those, service members who have gave the ultimate sacrifice, being able to honor them in such a way that we help with the immediate needs and we help the family establish a legacy while they're grieving through, their own process, so that, that lead work doesn't have to be pushed on them. And then another part that we're doing, the third piece of this, is all about cultural sensitive therapy, cultural engagement. Ooh, and with that, if your therapist or your counselor or your mental health professional or coach, if they look like you, and if they've been through the same experience you've been through, then the connection will be deeper, which will in turn make the treatment more effective and lower the dropout rate. And so we're looking at how different cultures view, treat, and overcome trauma and grief, and we're pulling out those best practices and sharing them. And so, we got some awesome and exciting things coming up. It is definitely one of those where the events, the stuff that we do for our veterans in our communities, it's all about giving back and supporting one another.
That's it.
I hope y'all join.
Thank you, Greg, so much. Fantastic. I absolutely love that. There's no better way to end this than on that note. Because I think we really talked about all those really important issues. And I think, that mission that you're on, that legacy that you want to leave, especially with your family, being military family, and then just bringing awareness with all this is so important. So I'm just happy that I could support you. Thank you for letting me support you.
I appreciate you. And I appreciate those check-ins that you be doing. You really be making my day. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. No. Like I said, I know that you're working hard. You're really trying to get this ready to go. And I've been waiting for you, and I've been really excited to have this conversation tonight. So I really hope I did you justice and your mission in highlighting, your voice and your mayhem and making it more inclusive and more accessible for all, right? And just making it hey, we got to normalize this. We got to break these stigmas. People are hurting out there. They're hurting alone. They're hurting in silence. Reach out. It's okay. Rant room's okay. We all love the rant room. That's okay. Now more since things are just so heightened. So I appreciate you bringing awareness to this today.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. Well, my dear friend Greg, if there's anything else you want to leave off with, just let people know how they can get a hold of you one last time. Then I'll let you go to the backstage. I'll say my goodbyes and we'll close up the night. So
okay. I'll leave you with this. And this is one of my favorite, and I'm paraphrasing this quote, this poem. I shall pass this way but once. Any good that I can do, let me do it now, for I may not pass this way again. And so for those that have an opportunity to do good, take advantage of it. And so I wish y'all nothing but the best. And I want y'all to stay safe out there, especially during these times. Stay focused and stay engaged.
All right. Thank you, Greg. You have a wonderful night, and it's been a pleasure. And if you want to hang out for a minute, you can. You're more than welcome to free to go, but your time is appreciated, and want to honor you, your fallen soldiers, friends, our Second Lieutenant Emily Perez, and of course, our Captain Scott Pace. So appreciate you and your mission. Thank you again, and you have a great night, my friend. We will talk soon, okay?
All right.
Okay, friends, we've made it to the end of the show. I hope everyone has found some really good information in tonight's episode. Please support Greg, connect with him, reach out to his website, share his information, share his mission. It's really important that we start to work together to help other individuals that are going through all these difficult traumas and experiences alone and isolation, especially now as, we're in this time of life. So I guess that's it. I'm going to start to close it up. Thank you, beautiful humans. We've made it to the end. Again, we're here to break stigmas and stereotypes of mental health, disability, and trauma. I like to promote inclusion, advocacy, accessibility, offer support, create opportunity, have these conversations so we can promote healing and social change. It's really important. Change the language. The show is really intended to silence those voices, and that's why we're here. So thank you again. If you're not following, if you're not subscribed, please do so now. I share this information, invite someone next time, and I just really appreciate everyone that's been here tonight. Next week, we're going to have another amazing guest. We're going to be talking about something totally different. And it might be on the flip side of last week's episode where we talked about autism, but we're moving to the other side of the spectrum, more towards neurodiversity. So We're going to talk a little bit about ADHD, and I think dyslexia and stuff like that. So I look forward to that conversation as well. Thank you for being here with me tonight. Let me check on the chat. Let me see if there's anything in the chat that I missed. Thank you, Nick. Great show. I appreciate your support. Thank you, Gabe. Thank you, Jackie. G, thank you. I appreciate you. And of course, Marissa, I appreciate you and all your help that you brought tonight. Thank you, friends. Everyone have a good night. Let me see if I can do this and end like with something else that's different. I don't know. But anyways, we'll see you guys, everyone. See you guys. I said it again. See everyone next week. Bye, friends.